Hi, this is Pradeep. So let's start another blog on S/4HANA Finance and controlling interview questions. So recently, some of my participants they have appeared for the interview, and they shared a couple of questions which was asked in interview. So I thought like I will share with you. So first question, let's take. It's a very easy question, but very fundamental question also. How to check the duplicate invoice for vendor, and same is applicable on customer also. Okay, so there are a couple of ways are there where we can activate the duplicate check option from vendor point of view. So one is from, as we know, we can raise the invoice, or we can create the invoice from the finance system or from the finance point of view, which you are managing through FB60, like your some service related vendors, and another one through the logistics. So, and there are two checks are there. So one check is you can manage the duplicate check option through the uh, one option if it is related to finance, so that we can manage through the transaction code FK02. So FK02 means you need to go to your vendor edit master. If it is S4HANA, this concept is there both in S4HANA and ECC both. So if it is S4HANA, then you need to go to the business partner. In the business partner, you need to select the finance role, and under the finance role, you need to go to the company code segment, and under company code segment, you need to activate that option. So under company code data, under payment data, and if it is ACC, then simply you need to go to the vendor master, and in the vendor master, same under company code payment data, you are going to get that option. So through the transaction code FK02, you can manage automatically. If it is S4HANA, then it will be redirected to your BP. If it is ACC, then you can go to directly to FK02. Let me show you that in the system so that you will get more clarity on this. So this is my S4 system. So here I will go to, suppose, FK02. Let me take one company code. It is S4, but automatically it will be redirected to BP, because in S4 we don't have the master records anymore. Okay, and I need to go to the company code segment. So go to the company code segment. Particularly, I need to go to the payment segment, company code. Enter. Now you can see the redirecting to transaction BP. As I said, in S4 it is BP, whereas if you enter the same transaction code in ECC, it will be your vendor master. So here you can see one option is there, which is your check double invoice. So you can activate this option, check double invoice. So if you will activate this option, check double invoice, then for that particular vendor, but make sure that you have to specify here the supplier role if you are accessing through the BP, and let's say through the BP transaction code. So in that case, you need to go to the supplier role, supplier finance role, which is your FLVN00, and you can activate this option, check double invoice. This is one option which is integrated, which is directly in the finance system we are updating. Other option, through the logistic point of view also, we can activate set check for your duplicate invoice. So this one also you can activate under logistic, under particularly under your invoice verification, incoming invoice. So there you need to activate set check for duplicate invoice. Okay, and here you can also activate like on what basis system is going to check whether reference number. Let's go to that screen. So as we are talking about vendor, so we will go to the material management, sources and procurement, that one. Material management, then go to logistic invoice verification, incoming invoice, set check duplicate invoice. So this one also you need to activate for your company code. Here multiple options are there. For example, same company code I will take, then it is there. Although I have not maintained any specific reference, like how system is going to check whether it is date wise or reference field informations. So that maybe you can activate. So two answers there for this question, how to check duplicate invoice for vendor. One is through finance, and second one is through logistic point of view. Next, here one scenario is there. Let's go through this scenario. So the question is, or the scenario is, like sometimes like this type of situation will be there in your project also. So let's say same scenario questions asked by the interview. So what would be the impact if you're going to change your controlling area with your existing company code? So as you know, in the hierarchy point of view, we know that in hierarchy, first we have the controlling area after your operating concern. So this is my controlling area. And under this controlling area, we have assigned the company code. So one or multiple company code assigned. Now, the question is, if we are going to, in our existing system, if we are going to change the company code, then what will happen? Okay, so if in the we are going to change the controlling area in our existing company code. So what will be the risk will be there, or it is possible. So we have some company codes with different controlling area, and we want to bring them under one single controlling area. So there is a need that we want to, in a production system, we want to change this scenario. Okay, so here how we are going to handle it. That means again, it's my thought. So you should not change the configuration of assigning the company code of to your controlling area in your existing system, right? But still there is a need. So if already we have, that means what I'm saying, if already you have your master data, means different cost objects are created, already lots of transactions are posted because it's productive company code, then you should not change the configuration, the existing configuration of your assigning company code to controlling area, right? So that is not recommendable, but still there is a need, we have to change it. We want to bring different company code under one controlling area, so there is a need. So in that case, what we can do, we can create a new company code, and assign to the controlling area. So earlier it was different company code, now we want to bring a different company code. So for the same company code, you create one more new company code, maybe you can change the code. Okay, so you need to create a new company code and assign to the controlling area. But already we have the transactions are there, we have balances are there. So with the new company code, whatever you have created, so we can upload balances, we can upload the line item with your new company code. Okay, so then after that, once you will complete all your required configuration, then obviously, as already line items are there and balances are there, so you can go for that one. So this is my recommendation to the customer. If they want, really they want to change the company code in your existing controlling area, so they want to replace the existing company code with a new company code under the same controlling area, so they can create a new company code, and after creating all these configurations, assignments, everything from the old company code, so the balances, the line items, so those things can be added to the existing company code or under the existing hierarchy. Okay, but don't try to change anything, otherwise inconsistency error will be there if you are going to change in your existing settings in existing controlling area and company code settings. Let's take the next one. Okay, so let's this is one more scenario. So here scenario is, we know how to create the cost calculations, the plant cost calculations. So as we know that in cost calculations, we have our material component is there and activity component is there. Let's take one example. So there is one activity, and in that activity, that means particularly in the routing settings, we have maintained the operation. So before that, first we have to create our KP26. That means where we are uploading our planned cost, and assume that to for the operation point of view, a particular activity, let's say machine activity. So per hour cost, it is calculated as the per hour cost of that activity is calculated as per this example, it is 14 rupees. So it is 14 INR. Yeah. Okay, so we have uploaded the in KP26 per hour cost is 14 INR. And to complete that task in the operation, that means in your routing settings, you have to maintain 10 hours. So what is your particular activity cost? So it is 14 into 10, that is 140 INR. So this is your cost for that activity. So I hope you can you can imagine your CK11N screen. So in that we have multiple activities are there, and here we are going to calculate. So if you want, I can show you a screen to understand this one. Let me go to CK11. It's already calculated, so I will not calculate it. So I will just show you the output. Okay, so we are talking about this one. So here you can see multiple activities are there, and we are talking about one particular activity. So here you can see different activities are there, and let's say the activity cost is, we are talking about this one. So per hour cost is, it is calculated as per this example, per hour cost is 14, and to complete this one, like here we have 2 hours, so there it is 10 hours. So the cost should be 140 rupees. So that is our 140 INR, the total activity cost for this one. Okay, let's go back to the question once again. So we have uploaded in KP26 the per hour cost. Like here also it should be uploaded the values, and accordingly, if we'll try to understand this example, let's go to KP26. So here you can see some values are uploaded. So which is here this one. So this value is uploaded. Okay, in here it is 0.75 for me, and this calculation, if you'll try to understand, 0.75 here, and in the working, how many hours are there? It is 2 hours. So 0.75 into 2, it is there different values. Maybe you will get confused here. Let me change the currency. Okay, now you can see. So 2 hours per hour cost is 0.75, 2 it is 1.50. So like this same example, similar example, it is there, or in interview it is asked like, we have uploaded KP26 and the value is per hour cost is 14 rupees per hour, and total time, total hour consumption here it is 10. So that means technically when we will calculate, or when user is going to run the CK11N, the total cost should be 140 rupees. Now coming to the problem. But when I executed this one, when I get this one, here the values are different. Okay, so I get here that value is change something here. So it is change the values. Okay, so here in KP26, or it is in CK11N, I'm getting a value of $135. What could be the reason? It should be 140 here, but here it's showing 135. And for your reference, we are using our object currency as INR, means cost center currency as INR, and controlling area currency is USD. Exactly similar what I am doing here. So here it is right now, it is in USD it is there, and my object currency is INR and my controlling area currency is USD. So that's why initially it was showing with INR values, and then I changed to my controlling area currency. So what could be the reason why we are getting this difference is there? So why it is there? That means when KP26 is maintained in controlling area with value, and CK11, and here why we are getting a wrong activity price it is showing. Okay, so what could be the reason here? Now here nothing is wrong in this process. That is how you are calculating your cost. Okay, so in this process, definitely some difference is showing that our expectation is it should be 140 USD, or 135, 140 INR, or 140 your USD. But it's showing that instead of 140, it's showing 135. If you'll see this calculation right now, it is showing 150. Okay, it's showing that 1.50 USD. That means as per my calculation, it is perfectly working. Now, suppose let's say here it is instead of 1.50, it's some different value is there. Then what could be the logic? Okay, so this one is depends on how you are calculating your cost. So that means if you're going to your plant cost calculation. So in the plant cost calculations, or particularly I'm talking about OKEQ. I hope you got the issue here in the question. So if you go to OKEQ, where we are defining how the price will be calculated. So there are two different options are there. One is option is average option, and second one is period. I calculated this cost, that means average price. So we are taking here average price. We have uploaded our values, that means for multiple periods, and this is how it is calculated. But if it is calculated as periodic price, suppose you selected there in the OK EQ in under your version when you are selecting your controlling area and a particular financial year, when you have checked in the price calculation tab, so there it is, maybe this option is selected as periodic. So because of that periodic, so it is going to take the periodic value, not the average value. So that is why it is not exactly working. It is not exactly the output is as per your values. So we are expecting that as we have maintained 14 into 10, it should be 140, but it's showing, let's say, 135. Why this difference is there? So its difference may be here, instead of average, maybe we have maintained in the price calculation in your configuration, you have selected that it is periodic value. So that is why this may be a difference in the value. So there is no, it's not any, absolutely there is no wrong here. It only how you are going to calculate it cost. If you go for average, one price will be there. It is like how you have uploaded in the KP26. So those value will be there. If you select their periodic value, then maybe difference value will be there, because in that case, we are going to take the periodic price, not we are going to take the average price. Okay, so in this way you can answer these questions. So it is a very tricky question, and it is coming from your product cost calculation. So in this way you can prepare. Coming to the next question, this is a very fundamental questions. So we know that we can maintain our OKB9 configuration. So let's say in OKB9 configuration, it is already maintained. Let me show you this one practically. So in configuration, we have maintained a particular GL account with a cost center, a particular GL account. So under your OKB9 configuration, where we are taking the define default cost center or define default cost object. So it is maintained under your OKB9. And let's say this some GL account is there. Let me go to that example. Let's take this example. So in this example, now let me go to the table. Even I don't know what GL account, with this GL account, which cost object is linked. Okay, so as for my configuration with this cost element or with this GL account is fixed as, or it is configured as 10005. So that means when user is going to post here the particular line items, then automatically under your FB50, particularly the moment user is going to select 3001 as your GL account, so automatically system is going to pick here 10005 as your cost center in the line items. Our requirement is in this particular transactions, we don't want to take this cost center, rather we will take some different cost center while posting, which is also quite obvious. So different time users are also changing the cost centers. Now question is here, user is not able to modify it. Okay, so let me show you that also. So GL account is, as per this example, 3001, some value, enter. Now here you can see automatically this cost center is there. So this cost center is, as per our configuration, this particular cost center is coming here. Now being user, I want to change this cost center. So instead of this one, I want to take a different cost center so that I can post this cost with that particular cost object. But unfortunately, when I'm trying to do that, it's not working. If I suppose I want to transfer this one to with this cost center, no, it's not working. The question is this one. So why we are unable to edit default cost center while posting, or why user unable to change the cost center here? What could be the reason? Very simple answer. Maybe you will find that is a little bit tricky. Some substitution rules are there or something is there, but actually it is a very simple answer for this one. That means right now under our field status variant or under the field status group, this particular field may be selected as suppressed. So if I will go to my field status variant and field status group, okay, so you need to check which GL account, which field status group we are using here. So I'm using here the field status group, which is YB04. Now let's check that also. YB04. And if you'll go to field status and if you'll check the additional account assignment, so here you can see it is selected as suppressed. So as it is selected suppressed, so from the configuration point of view, we have selected as no user will not do any modification. We will just simply continue whatever the configurations we did in the IMG. So under field status variants, under field status variant, under the field status group, see this particular field is selected as suppressed. Suppose you have a provision that user will change it time to time, then you can make it either required entry or you can make it optional entry. So if I will change it to optional entry, now by default that particular cost center will come, but we have the option we can change it. So I changed it to optional. Let me try to post once again this one. GL account 3001. So this cost center automatically is picked, but it is not no more suppressed. It is not freezed anymore. So I can change this particular cost center. Okay, suppose I want to take this one. Now it's changed. So we can use it. So this is the reason here. So we can, suppose there is a requirement, we don't want like any user will do any modification, then go for the first option. But if there is a requirement user time to time, they will change, then you can keep it optional or keep it required, rather keep it required field, so that user will not skip this field. They can modify the cost center, which is automatically coming, and they can continue. So that is next questions. Unable to edit the cost center. So far we discussed so far, one is related to duplicate check invoice. Second one is your migration point of view. Third one is how to, why there is a difference in your price related to activity. Then this one, then what is the next one? Activity type, again it is related to same your cost calculation, CK11N transaction code. So activity type values are not showing. So this is one example. We have let's go back to cost calculation screen. Here it's everything is there. So my inventories are there, materials are there, or all these activity types related to cost calculation, my overheads, everything is there. Here question is activity type it's not showing. That means this part is missing. This costs are not showing. All our configurations are correct, but because of some settings, this one is not coming. This one may be not coming. As a result, this overhead is also not showing. Only the material price is showing. So what could be the reason? Okay, so activity type values are not showing in our CK11 or in our cost calculation. So there could be any reason. One is your configuration is not properly configured, maybe related to this cost calculation, or let's say your OKTZ setting is also that one is not configured properly. But let's say assume that all our configurations are perfectly there from the CO point of view, but still it's not showing. So in that case, once you also need to check your PP settings. You need to check your operation settings. You need to check your routing settings. Maybe there something is missing. Maybe it is not activated as costing relevancy informations. So if you'll go to your routing settings, although it will come from your PP settings or PP consultants are PP side, it will come, but this could be reason because we are going to integrate CO with PP. Okay, so here if you go to, so I have two operations here in my cost calculation process. So if I will go to the operation, okay, so here just make sure that your costing relevancy option should be checked. This one is showing costing relevancy. If this one is not there, then chances are there your activity price will not reflect. Okay, so this is one checkpoint. Another checkpoint is again related to PP. Let's say this one is missing. it's updated, then it will come. Or let's say this one is also there, then make sure that lot size should be there in the header data of your routing. So that could be also another region where the activity price will not reflect. So if you go to your header informations, okay, and here you can see the lot size is maintained or not. So that could, if it is not maintained, then obviously it will not come. So this is another reason. Okay, so I hope you like all these questions. So in future, when I will get some more scenarios, definitely I will try to prepare one blog on these areas. So it will help you in your preparation for your FICO consulting. Thank you very much.